5 things that you need to look out for to spot an abuser before it starts. Please make sure this video is sent to someone who needs to watch this. If you know someone who is being abused, please send this to them. There's a lot of things going on today, and a video popped up in my Twitter the other day, and I want to just outline things that people can look for to spot, just so that we know if someone is an abuser or not, just so we can get out of there, because this breaks my heart. It breaks my heart to watch things like this happen. So please make sure you stay to the end of this video. Before we get into anything, I just want to outline a few things that have been going on recently, and something that I saw which drew me to want to make this video. And quite frankly, this is what ruins people's lives, because I've seen and I've worked with people who have been through mental abuse, physical abuse, even sexual abuse. And quite frankly, this is why they speak to me. And I'm not here to help you get out of the situations. That's not my role, and that is not what I do, and I do want to put that out there. I'm here to help you get over those situations once you're out of them. But please make sure someone who needs to watch this sees this video so that they can get the necessary help. So the first thing to spot if someone is abuser, and that this may be mental, it may not even be physical, this may just be mental, and quite frankly, they're just as bad. Because someone who is mentally abusive will make someone feel like they are worthless, and someone who is physically abusive will hurt someone until they feel they're worthless. So they're still getting to the same outcome, just in different ways, and there's no one that's worse or one that's better than the other. They're all just awful, and we need to help eradicate this. And it makes me feel sick. It makes me feel sick even talking about this topic, if I'm honest, but it needs to be said. And I'm not going to hide from it. I'm not going to say abuse doesn't happen, because it does. The first thing you can look out for is someone who is controlling and very, very possessive. Now, controlling can be in many different ways, and also possessive, but we need to be self-aware to realize what is controlling and what is possessive versus what is someone who's looking out for our best interest, if that makes sense. But we have to realize that someone who is controlling will literally only let you do something they want you to do. You cannot do what you want to do. You cannot be who you want to be around other people. You cannot see your friends. You cannot see your family. If someone is trying to cut you off of those people, then they are controlling and possessive, and they want you and only you, so that you only have them and you only have each other. Because then someone who is abusive will only thrive when they've got one person to abuse. They can't do it around loads of people, because they are mentally weak people. They are weak people physically, mentally, emotionally. They are very unstable. So if they can get one person, they're going to do that because that's all they can handle. And also notice how they are around other people versus when you're alone. When you're alone, do they tell you can't do this, you can't do that? But when you're around other people, they're like, yeah, of course you can, of course you can. And then you get home and then it's a different story. If that's coming up, then please be aware of that. The second thing you can look out for is someone who is very hypocritical of you. Constantly look... I need some water. Someone who's constantly nagging you to do certain things. And again, there's a fine line, because someone who truly loves you is gonna do what they can to help you. So someone who's saying, let's go to the gym, let's get in shape, they're not necessarily doing it and saying you're fat or you need to get in better shape because you're ugly. They're saying it because they're looking out for you. Versus someone who's just telling you to do something and they're not helping you. And that's the best correlation you can make. Are they telling you to do something, or are they encouraging and helping you do something? Someone who just tells you to go to the gym because you're fat, who are they to say that? Versus someone who says, let's go to the gym and let's get ourselves in shape. They're doing it from a place of care. And the only differentiation to make is someone who's doing it with you versus someone who's telling you to do something. Someone who's telling you that you shouldn't be doing this, or you should be doing this, or whatever it is. You should make me dinner. You shouldn't be seeing these people. You shouldn't be laughing as much because I'm not happy today. Someone who's that hypocritical is going to constantly be pushing you down versus helping you grow as a person. Because I'm all for someone who is critical in a sense where it's positive criticism, to say, look, at the end of the day, you're overweight, we need to do something about that because I care about you and I think our health is the most important thing. Or Maybe you should stop drinking as much, because what happens when you drink always ends up in a negative situation. That's not hypercritical. That's positive criticism, which is going to make shifts in our life. Because someone who's hypercritical is always pointing out our defects and our negative sides and our negative points. Whereas someone who's wanting to help you change will say, you used to enjoy running. Why don't we get back to that? They're going to do it from a positive place. Now, please notice someone who is just pointing out your defects. They are going to be manipulative. They're going to be a narcissist. They're going to be someone who wants to control you. Please look out for that. The third thing to look out for is someone who doesn't stick to your boundaries. If someone has a boundary, we need to at least try to stick to them. If someone blatantly always crushes those and goes over those boundaries and always steps over the boundaries, then they are someone who is going to start controlling you. Versus someone who does it a few times, they may genuinely accidentally do it. Now, if you can see a correlation and it's happening multiple times, every time that you set a boundary and they don't listen to it, which makes you never want to set boundaries because you're scared of what they're going to do and you know that they're going to cross it anyway, that is someone who is trying to control you and is going to try and manipulate you because you are not allowing yourself to stick to a boundary. You have every right to stick to any boundary that you have right now. Every right. I will say that some boundaries that we set will negatively impact our personal relationships. They can do. I've had, in my experience, it's happened before. But I always stuck to those boundaries because they were boundaries. And if someone has a boundary, you stick to their boundary. That doesn't mean we can't get help and we can't help heal an individual. It's not our job to help heal an individual. At the end of the day, it's our job to help heal ourselves. If we've got a boundary that isn't unreasonable, then we need to realize that. And if you've been told that your boundary is unreasonable, then I would always recommend speak to a professional just to make sure that you get an outside perspective. Because most boundaries that someone in a relationship will say is unreasonable, they may just be coming from a place of manipulation. They generally could be. But sometimes it could just be there's something in us that needs to heal so that this boundary can allow our relationship to progress. The fourth sign to look out for is someone who always dismisses your feelings and makes you feel like you're worthless. Like, you shouldn't be crying. You shouldn't be upset. Be grateful for what you've got. You've got everything you can ask for. You've got a family. You've got this. You've got that. Someone who always dismisses you for feeling something that isn't happy. Because we are humans. We are human beings. We are not robots. I cry. I get angry. I get sad. I get emotional. I'm allowed to. And no one can tell me I can't. And I will. In that emotion, I will sit through it. I don't take my anger out and start punching people. I don't make everyone around me feel sad. I take myself away and I sit with my sadness. I sit with the emotion. And if you want to understand how to let go of any emotion, click this video up here because I explain the whole process of what you can do. The fifth and final thing to look for is someone who never admits they're wrong. They're always right no matter what. Told you that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen. No, that's just not right. Someone who's not open to something is extremely naive. Extremely naive. I'm seeing it in the world currently. People are stuck to one way of thinking. The world isn't one way of thinking. And I'm making a video after this one specifically about lifestyle changes and about why I'm vegan, and I also don't think everyone in the world should be vegan. That's my honest reality now. Whereas before, I used to be naive to it and think that everyone should be. If you want to watch that video, it may be here, so click that or just go onto my profile. Someone who can never admit they're wrong feels like they have more control. And they're going to be a narcissist. They're going to be someone who's going to try and manipulate you. But these are 5 signs of how to spot an abuser before it's too late. Because at the end of the day, everything that someone does, every action they do is an inclination of who they are. Not what they say they do. Not how they say to you, because it's very easy to say something and do something else. Please send this to someone who needs to see this, and also make sure you subscribe.